Hi, it's Nell, and today I'm going to be talking all about essential gardening tools that I use that you can buy on Amazon. So I upload videos on a regular basis here at YouTube all about gardening, both indoors and outdoors. So if you like that sort of thing, please hit subscribe and come back for more. So these are tools. They aren't the amendments, the soil, the pots, the plants, any of that. It's just the tools I use for gardening. And I grew up on a small farm, so I've been gardening for a long time. And also I was a professional gardener and garden designer for over 20 years. And I had so many tools. So these are the ones that I think are the most essential and the ones that I use on a regular basis here at my home in Tucson. My garden here is smaller than my garden in Santa Barbara, and the climate's also a little bit, rougher, even though today is February 1st and it's 78 degrees. How rough can that be? But the winter evenings are colder and the summers are much, much hotter. So I don't garden quite as much here as I did in Santa Barbara, where I had a lot of plants. So I'll start by saying that the majority of these products I did not buy on Amazon. I've had them for a long time. I didn't bring all my gardening tools with me when I moved here because it was a move where I went to a different state, so I didn't want to take tools that I didn't think I was going to use, so I gave them away. But these things I have now, I've had for a while. I've used them. I still use them here, and I'm going to recommend the same brand on Amazon or something very similar if I was going to repurchase the product, what I myself would buy. And I just want to throw in that I do buy as much as I can, locally, almost everything: food, plants, amendments, containers. But every once in a while I just have to order on Amazon, and I know a lot of you probably live in towns and cities which don't have a lot of gardening centers or any gardening centers. So I just wanted to do this for you. Also let you know what I use, because I have a lot of experience in gardening. Oh, and I also have an Amazon shop. You can find all these things on my Amazon shop on my website. And also I'm going to be doing a blog post to go along with this video, and actually a lot more details, and the links will be in the blog post. So just head to the description box down below, and in the first couple of lines you'll find the link to the blog, so you can see everything very clearly there. So these first 5 items are the ones that I use the most. I think there's a total of 12 items, and the other ones I use in no particular order, but I do use them on a semi-regular basis. But the thing that I use the most, my trusty Felco number 2 pruners. These are the gold standard in the gardening industry for pruning. All the parts are replaceable. I have had these since 1997. I bought them at Berkeley Horticultural Nursery in Berkeley. I haven't replaced any of the parts, and I used them so much when I was a professional gardener. As you can see, the handle grips or the handle covers are gone. I could buy those and replace them, but I just haven't. But love these. And followed by the Fisker Floral nips. These are great for fine pruning and snipping things like herbs, fine branches, flowers, that sort of thing. I use these quite regularly. I also use them to prune, succulents like string of pearls, string of bananas, all that, the soft stemmed ones. This model isn't made anymore, but they have a newer model. And next is the sharpener, because I do clean and sharpen my pruning tools on a regular basis. I also take them to be professionally sharpened probably every year or two, but this is a great tool. It's very light. It's really easy for me to use. I've done a video on this. I've done a video on pruning tools which I will leave the link to that down below. It'll also be in the blog post, but this is really easy for me to use. I have small hands and it does the trick. Now, this next product I use a lot. You could argue it's not a tool, but I use it so much I consider it to be a tool. And those are my gardening gloves. I wear gloves, you know, when I garden, just because, oh, look at these. Lovely, huh? And I like this brand here because A, they make extra small gloves and they have these gripper dots on them. So they're very strong. These have lasted a long time too. I love these. The Atlas gloves are good too. You know, those are in my shop, but these I love. So the last thing in the first 5 is my tub truck. And this one is new. I just bought it. I haven't, you know, used it that much because it was early last, winter. I'd done a little pruning and I left my kneeling pad and my tub truck out on the porch here. We had these really strong winds that started at like 3 in the morning. I came out and poof, they were gone. So I don't know if they blew to Phoenix, but I just got a new one because I'm going to be starting up a lot of pruning here in Tucson at the end of February into March. So I need this, and this is great for gathering all my clippings because I am notorious for pruning and just, throwing things around, and then I have to clean the mess up. So this helps me keep it all consolidated. This is also great for harvesting vegetables and also for mixing up soil. And it comes in a small, medium, and large size. This is, the medium, and it comes in a whole bunch of colors. So now we're gonna head over to the other side, the other patio. It makes me sound like I have an estate. Over to the kitchen patio to fetch all the other tools out of the garage. So come on over. All right, over here for the change of scene. And kneeling pad. My previous kneeling pad that I had for a very long time also blew away, so I got a new one. This one is really nice and thick, and I really like to have a kneeling pad because I think most of us, all of us, have bony knees, and it just really helps if you're doing a lot of planting on your knees, weeding, pruning, any of that stuff. Good to have. And a watering can. It's always nice to have one. And this one I've had for a long time. Can't remember if I got this in San Francisco or Santa Barbara, but just been really good. It's a 2-gallon size. This particular brand is not, I couldn't find it on Amazon, but there's one that's very similar on there. So this is a fabulous thing to have also. And for bigger pruning jobs, lopping shears, loppers. These I got at Orchard Supply Hardware. I don't even know what the brand is. I think it was their brand because I couldn't find it. There's a name on here somewhere, but I don't think these are made anymore, but I've had them for a long time. And these are what is called telescopic handles. They extend. And the pruners that I'm going to suggest don't, because the ones on Amazon, I don't know the brands really, and I haven't used them, so I'm just going to recommend I think it's a Corona, and that's a good brand, but these are great to have. I use these here for trimming the fronds off my Mediterranean fan palm, for pruning bigger branches on my bougainvilleas and all that kind of stuff. And the last item or items in this rotation are hand tools. Great to have them, especially for container gardening. So these come from different sets. I have a couple of sets that I am going to recommend to you. These have been pieced together, but these are ones I really love and use. I especially like this trowel here, as you can see. It's been used, but it's small and it's very pointed, so it's great for digging. I have a few more items to show you, but I thought this would be a good video and blog post to do with spring coming up, because you'll probably be itching to get back out in the garden, and especially if you are a beginning gardener, these are what I consider to be the tools that you will use the most at the beginning. You can go fancy and get a lot of other tools, but sometimes it's good to start with just, the basics. Next up is a hose. And this hose works for me. It is very lightweight. This is 50 feet. I can easily drag it around or just carry it around, and it doesn't kink. It coils up very nicely. And even here in the desert where it's really hot, there's a lot of spiny things around. It's just fine. My garden is on drip, but there are some things that aren't, like the pink grapefruit tree. So I use this to deep water it about once a month. Now, this doesn't have a lot of pressure to it. So if you're looking for a hose with high pressure, this is not it. But a hose is something that is very handy to have, another handy thing to have. I almost didn't include this, but I decided to, because when I had a larger garden, I used it every now and then, and that is a handsaw for larger branches. I also used it to score the root ball of a plant if it was really tight, or sometimes the roots were just like so mangled up on the bottom. I would cut those bottom roots off, just a little portion of it. So this is something that is handy to have if you have a lot of larger, like shrubs and trees on your property. Now, how could I not include a shovel? Obviously, for digging holes, planting, all that kind of thing. It is a necessity. I've had this for forever, like a lot of these things. I'm just going to lean it up against the Mexican fence post cactus. And these are a couple other shovels I use, but you don't necessarily need them. But this is a contractor's or trench digger's shovel. Very sharp if you're having trouble digging the earth. Also, obviously makes a nice narrow hole to start. And then this is what is called the lady gardener. And I used to use this a lot for planting 4-inch perennials and also 4-inch annuals. Just go through, dig the holes, and then you can just go plant them, and you aren't on your hands and knees for a really long time. It's a good thing I have my Mexican fence post cactus to hold all these tools up here. And a rake. Good for the fall if you have a lot of leaf droppage or leaf droppage at any time of year. If you've done a lot of pruning and you need to clean it up. I don't use this that much anymore, except there is a big, huge pine tree. Well, it's not huge. It's a medium-sized pine tree in my driveway area, and it does drop a lot of needles, so I use it to rake the needles up basically now, but I did use that a lot. So the last two items that I am going to suggest are two things I don't have anymore. I gave them away, but I love them and used them. Actually, I could probably use the first one, and that is the Hori garden knife. And it's great for planting things like bulbs or smaller plants. It's good for weeding. It even has a serrated edge and a straight edge, so you can actually use it for a little pruning. And it's a Japanese tool, super sharp. And you'll see that and the one after, like all of them, in the blog post. And the last one is a Japanese weeding sickle. Now, I don't have a ton of weeds here in Tucson because it doesn't rain that much, but I know in the spring and summer there can be a lot of weeds. So if you have a lot of weeds, you'll want to consider this tool. It's great. I just wanted to come over here to sign off because my aeonium is so gorgeous at this time of year. It loves the cooler weather, and the heat here in the desert is like, you know, and then when the cooler temps come, it just grows like crazy. It's got little babies everywhere. So I just wanted you to take a peek at that. But I want to ask you, have I forgotten anything? Or is there something that you use on a regular basis for gardening that you want to share with us? Let us know. And as I said at the beginning, all the links will be waiting for you in the blog post, and that's right down in the description box below, and also on my website, JoyUsGarden.com. And coming up next week is Imperial Philodendron Red Care. Then I think after the week after that, it's going to be a DIY seed starting mix, because it is time to start those seeds. So I really hope you found this video to be helpful. I just wanted to share these items with you. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in the garden, because it'll be time for you to get out in your garden in a couple months, me very soon, and make our worlds a more beautiful place. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!